Well, I decided to give you guys a closer look of my 72 Stingray. So, 1972, Elkhart Green. It's a roadster. It's got a 4-speed. It's been a bit of a project of mine. I've been working on it since I was 12. It's my dad's old Corvette. He bought it back in the 80s. He was like 18 years old. And the car broke down on him in the early 90s, I think 93. The car broke down on him. He never got a chance to fix it because he ended up passing away shortly after that. But it took me, let me see, it broke down in 93. I think I drove it on the road the first time in 2023. It's about 30 years it was off the road. I think it was like 28 years it wasn't running. But let me show you what's under the hood. So, like I said, the car broke down on my dad. By the time I started working on it, my dad, he had tinkered on it a little bit, and he left the valve cover off. And there was a rat's nest in cylinder number, let's see, 4, I think it was 4 that had the rat's nest. It was 4 or 6. I can't really remember, but yeah, there was a giant rat's nest in it, and the entire piston was just seized. So yeah, that thing was, and I was 12, so I didn't really know what I was doing. But I have a new Blueprint engine. This is the 355. It's been dynoed. I believe it's 404 horsepower and 424 pound-foot of torque, so it's a lot more power than this car has ever seen before. And then the carburetor, you couldn't guess, it's a Holley. It's the Holley Street Warrior. Put in an electric fan. Figured that'd be easier than trying to find an engine fan. I could not find an actual mechanical fan. I really couldn't. I can't remember why. I think they were just not available. But yeah, I went with an electric fan. My wiring job is bothering me, which I'll get to that at some point, I'm sure, but and these aren't C2, so you have to close it with 2 hands, so that sucks. Okay, don't be fooled by my wiper door. Unfortunately, it's broken, so I have to get that fixed. The headlights, I converted that over to electric. Unfortunately, I can't afford Detroit Speed motors, so it's just the cheap eBay kit. I actually want to do a video on that because it's a good kit and a bad kit, and I see people show how to wire it in, but I don't think I've really seen someone review it. Side pipes, this was originally an undercar exhaust, but I like side pipes. So these are Sweet Thunder by High Flow Performance. And these are actually for a C2, not a C3. Interior-wise, it's not finished. So this was actually just a base model car. So it didn't have any luxury features. So no AC, no power brakes, no power steering, no power windows. So it didn't have any really nice feature. No telescoping steering wheel, nothing like that. But these door panels are actually from another 72. These are from a 72 LT1 car, actually. I had about 30,000 miles on it. Don't know what happened to the car. All I know is that that's what these were from. This is the original seat. It looks horrible, but this is actually the passenger seat. I still have to get that redone. That is actually a driver's seat, but it's in worse shape than this seat. It's a leather seat cover, which looks horrible, and the whole frame's all broken and everything. That's actually from a friend of mine. He has a 72 as well, and he let me take the seat because he's going to get custom seats. And then once he found out how broken that seat was, he's like, you could just, keep it and then pitch it once I get my new seats redone. Couple of new dash components, I guess, or yeah, I got the e-brake cover. I didn't actually have this. I don't have that piece, but I never had this. And then I got a new console because mine was broken, new shift boot because it was all tore up and rotted away. I've yet to replace the dash, but I plan on replacing probably all of it because it's kind of rough. Maybe a dash cover for this thing because I know these things are pretty expensive. Down in here, I mean, it's got all dirt in it, and I don't know, it's kind of a pain to clean it. So, 31,024. Nope, there's a 1 in front of that. Got a funny story about that, too. Tack. Yeah, my gauge cluster. See how bad that looks? It almost looks dirty, but that's just how faded the black is. Some of that down there is dirt, though. But yeah, and that's for my electric fan, so I don't actually have a sensor that it's hooked up to. But then yeah, you can see it's just, I need to replace some of this, clean it up. It's a bit of a project. The carpet's brand new though. I did that last summer. I also put some sound deadener underneath of it. In the back, I don't really want to pop it because it always gets caught on that seat because it's broken. I don't have a top in here. My top is actually currently ripped apart. I used to work at Kaufman Corvette. I took it to work, ripped it apart, was going to redo it, but didn't have the money for it. Then I have my speakers, so you can see I didn't have a radio, so I actually have a Bluetooth head unit. And again, none of this is permanent. You can see it all looks horrible and just kind of thrown in here. This was kind of like, I just want to drive the car for summer last year, and I've got plenty of stuff to tinker on and kind of clean up and make look nice. But that's back there. So you may have noticed the paint does not look great on this car. The color is actually a really nice color when it's nice and brand new. However, you may notice something like this. You may notice that almost looks like a rectangle. Well, that was actually a piece of painter's tape. Yeah, like piece of masking tape did that. I forget what I was doing, but I was holding something up and I'd used masking tape and it peeled the paint off. Over here, I was trying to do some paint matching. I found a can of Elkhart green in a spray can, which actually looks pretty close, if I do say so myself. Underneath of this is actually the original paint. So this isn't the original paint, but underneath this is. It actually doesn't look too bad. But this right here, again, I taped this off with painter's tape. Yeah, see right there, there's the original paint. You can see it coming through there. Yeah, no, basically what had happened was my dad had an accident. He backed the car into a restaurant sign. He was on a date with my mom. He was looking at my mom when he was backing up. And yeah, and by that point the car was, let's see, that would have been 88. So the car was like 16 years old, had some paint chips, stuff like that, some scratches. My dad, he decided, you know what? They're doing the body work, why not just respray the car? And I mean, I'm not kidding you. They did probably the worst paint job I've ever seen in my entire life. Because you can, it's just, it doesn't feel right. The primer doesn't feel right. When I sanded through the primer and saw the original paint, it didn't look like they did any paint prep. It's like they literally just did the bodywork on the car, sprayed it with primer, and then sprayed Elkhart green on top of it. I mean, it is single stage paint, but I don't know. They did such a bad job painting it, and my dad wasn't happy. That's the story I was told, is he just was not happy. And so that's why the paint kind of flaked off. I mean, you can see it best on the headlight. Yeah, it just kind of flaked off. It bubbles up here. He did a very bad job painting it. But I do plan on getting it painted, although having worked and built these cars professionally now, as I built this car before I actually built them professionally, I've learned a lot. And yeah, no, I plan on basically redoing the whole car at some point. even though it's almost finished. You know, it's just interior, some bodywork, some paint, and a top. But yeah, oh, side covers. Yeah, no, there's some things that bother me, some wiring things. I know how to wire now, so it's kind of like, well, I kind of want to fix some things. My gas gauge doesn't work, so I want to fix that. But yeah, that's kind of something that I want to do at some point. You may have noticed I don't have my original wheels. I had original rally wheels on this car. I like the rally wheels, but my plan was to LS swap this car one day. And so eventually the rally wheels weren't going to work with the brakes and everything I'd have to go with. So I decided to already start looking at some cooler wheels, and I found these Riddler wheels. My friend TJ has a Camaro he put these on, and I thought they looked kind of good. So they're 18s. I'm not really a tire guy, so that's all I really know. But yeah, that's generally the overview of the car. It's, you know, just 72 Roadster, 4-speed manual. It is a fun little car to drive, but it's not perfect. Like I said, the car isn't finished. Still got some work to do. It does need an alignment. I basically just, I don't know, I eyeballed the alignment, so it doesn't really look that great, at least to me anyway. But yeah, I need to fix that. You also may notice it's in monster truck mode, which, you know, there is an explanation, and I plan on doing a video explaining some of the things. And since I actually know a bit more about this stuff now, I can actually tell you what parts to avoid, like how to avoid that happening to your car if you're building one of these and stuff like that. And that door needs to come up. You can see that body line. I'm getting too focused on what I still need to do to this car. But anyway, I think that's gonna be it. This is just an overview of my 72. Oh, I did put new badges on it, which they do look a lot better than the old ones that didn't have any paint on them anymore. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a long project. Got a lot of plans for it, and I plan on doing a lot of that on this channel. I mean, I'll do a lot of small tinkering on the car, do the body work, we're gonna do the paint, finish up the interior, maybe do some wiring stuff, clean some stuff up. Got some small things that I can mess with. I'm also thinking about doing a little bit of a review on certain things, like talking about the headlight conversion I went with, wiper door conversion I want to go with, stuff like that. You know, the suspension kit that I have on this car that I don't really like. So yeah, if that kind of stuff interests you, consider subscribing, because I got a lot of stuff still to do on this car. I plan on doing other things than just working on this car, but right now this is kind of what I'm focusing on. I don't really have money to go to other cars, so this is the one I'm focusing on right now. But yeah, consider subscribing. You want to see more, because this car got a lot to go yet. It's going to look a lot better